Before psychology became science, it was a search for the soul. Two men stood at the edge of the unknown. One saw the mind as machinery, the other as mystery. One sought control, the other sought meaning. Freud, Jung. Their visions shaped the century, but only one could define the future.
I often wonder what our world would look like if we had followed Jung instead of Freud. Freud taught us to look at the mind like a machine. Diagnose, dissect, control. Jung invited us to look inward, to listen to the quiet voice of the soul. Imagine if psychology had become a path to wholeness rather than a cure for illness. If dreams, myths, and symbols guided culture instead of advertising, and inner growth mattered more than status. Maybe we would have built a world that heals from the inside out.
Freud believed the unconscious was a vault of repressed desire, dark impulses needing control. Jung saw it differently. He saw a living mystery filled with symbols, archetypes, and the seeds of divinity itself. Where Freud spoke of neurosis, Jung spoke of meaning. Where Freud sought to manage the drives of man, Jung sought to awaken the spirit within him. One treated the mind, the other called to the soul. At first, they were allies, two pioneers mapping the unseen. But their visions could not coexist. Freud feared that opening the soul would invite madness. Jung believed denying it was the true madness. Their friendship cracked, and with it, psychology split in two. One half chasing control, the other chasing wholeness. And from that fracture, our modern world was born, brilliant yet haunted by what it left behind. If the world had chosen Jung, our schools would teach the language of dreams. Children would learn to listen to their inner voice as carefully as they learned to read. We'd study myth not as fiction, but as a mirror of the soul. Religion would not divide us, but reveal our shared inner divinity. We would see that the same light lives in all things, waiting to be known. In Jung's world, therapy wouldn't just heal wounds, it would awaken purpose. We'd ask not, "What's wrong with you?" but "What is trying to emerge through you?" Art, music, and story would be sacred again, the ways our souls remember who we are. The church, the temple, the clinic, all would point to the same truth. That wholeness begins when the outer world serves the inner life. Imagine an economy rooted in inner balance, not endless growth, where success meant alignment, not accumulation. Advertising would remind us of our essence, not our emptiness. Technology would amplify consciousness instead of distraction. We would no longer consume to feel alive. We would create to remember that we are. A world led by symbols, not slogans. Spirit, not spectacle. Every soul must one day descend into its own darkness. The shadow is everything we hide. Fear, desire, pain, and forgotten light. Freud tried to manage it. Jung said we must meet it. For only by facing what we deny can we reclaim who we are. To awaken is not to escape the darkness, but to make it conscious, to see God even there. Beyond the ego lies something eternal, the self. Not a mask, but the divine center that holds all opposites. When we align with it, the fragments of our being begin to sing together. In that harmony, we remember, the soul was never broken, only forgotten. Jung called it individuation, the journey home to the image of God within. As each person awakens, the world begins to change. Consciousness rises not through conquest, but through compassion. The light we discover in ourselves is the same that lived in Christ, not above us, but within us. This is the realization Jung foresaw, that the divine would return not from the sky, but from the depths of the human soul. When one soul heals, the world shifts. Wholeness is contagious. As each of us integrates the shadow, honors the self, and lives from inner truth, we restore balance in the world around us. We no longer seek power over others, but harmony within all things. Jung said, "The salvation of the world consists in the salvation of the individual soul." And perhaps this is how heaven begins, here. Imagine a world guided by inner light, where science serves wisdom and faith honors experience, where art, love, and truth walk hand in hand, where we see the face of God in every living thing. This is not fantasy, it is a memory awakening. For the soul has always known the way home. And maybe, just maybe, the world that could have been is still waiting to be born. Through us. The story of Jung and Freud was never just about psychology. It was a prophecy, a question whispered through time. Will we live by fear or awaken through meaning? The answer is being written now through us. Every act of awareness is a spark in the dark. Every soul that remembers itself becomes a lighthouse for the world. The self is rising within and through all.